listen live, no credit, não watch live, né? Parece que eu tô ótimo. Usem o Twitter da Cardeck Radio para perguntas. A Vanessa respondeu. Tem como deixar essa música? Você que está produzindo essa música? Quem está produzindo a música? Mas deixa rodando, assim que eu acabar e começar a orar, você volta nessa música. Porque eu quero muita informação, porque eu tocar, você volta e começa. Sim. Pode. Tá bom. Você não conseguiu nem saber o que é.
Você não me avisa que tá de frente na câmera?
Eu tô querendo concentrar na música. O que você quer?
Hello everyone. Let's start the suicide prevention workshop. I'd like to ask everybody to take your seats and also to turn off the cell phones or to put the cell phones on the silent mode. And so welcome everyone to the 6th annual workshop, Suicide Prevention. It's a workshop that is presented by the Long Island Spirits Study Group and is sponsored by Cardeck Radio and the Tri-State Spirits Federation. And not only we are here, but we are also live on Facebook and on Cardeck Radio. So for the ones who are watching us on Cardeck Radio, Facebook, or the ones who are listening to us on Cardeck Radio, they can also interact with us, just writing a comment, writing any question that you may have, and we are going to take all the questions because we are going to have a Q&A later on in the afternoon. And not only this, we are having all the lectures here, and starting at 3 p.m. we will be having a room very close to here, the next room, with fraternal assistance for the ones who want. It's just to take a moment to talk, to Adriano Barco. He's going to be there if you want to share anything that's happening to you, if you want to pray. There will be also a group there to pray with us. So starting at 3 p.m., right after the break, we're going to have this room for the fraternal assistance. And now I'd like to invite our friends Marcelo Cabral and Fred Gouveia to come here on stage for the opening prayer and for some violin music.
Hi everybody. Good afternoon. We're going to try an experiment today. This is the very first time I am attempting this. Instead of playing a piece of music that I rehearsed, that I prepared, or that I know, I would rather have a telepathic exchange from mind and heart between myself and you guys. And I would like to see what the violin is going to express. And the idea is that we can do a mixture of tonight's workshop, the intention of it, and as you go into a state of concentration and meditation to prepare for the opening prayer, let the music be this guide, but also send to me here your imagination, thoughts, good feelings, good energy, so that we can create this moment together. This is an invitation for all of us to do this, okay? And right after that, Marcelo is going to lead us to the opening prayer. So sit back. If you wish to close your eyes, go into a state of relaxation, concentration, and it won't take very long. Let the music do the talking.
merged in this harmony, in this feeling of peace, connected with our hearts, with your thoughts, and with God. Dear God, thank you for this great opportunity to be here together, united, to learn, to educate ourselves, to how overcome difficulties in our life with courage, with love, and would like to ask you, God, to inspire our friends that dedicated so much to study, to share the knowledge and the experience they had through life, to teach us, all of us. Thank you so much. So be it.
So our first lecture will be the emotional freedom techniques for a balanced life.
Diane Gordon attended Sony Brook University as an undergraduate and has been practicing emotional freedom techniques since 2015. In 2016, she received her certification as EFT practitioner from the International Metaphysical University. She sees individual clients, presents group seminars, and offers intimate group tapping circles. Diane is dedicated to helping people find their emotional balance as she guides them in clarifying the extreme importance of the mind-body connection to maintain optimal health. She continues with great passion to study the related fields of neuroscience, quantum physics, epigenetics, while sharing all she knows with heart and soul.
Diane?
Thank you so much for that opening introduction. So, Marcelo already beat me to it. So Marcel beat me to it about the cell phones, and I have only one rule. So you can put it on vibrate, so if you need to take an emergency call, of course, but if you do need to do that, you step out of the room. If your phone rings, you have to stand up on the stage with me and sing. So, let's make sure those phones are only on vibrate. Good? That's my only rule. So everyone signed the disclaimer that went around? Did everyone sign? Sonia, did you get it count? Yes, everyone signed? You got it? Good? Okay. So, Isabella and Sonia are distributing some handouts, and I wanted to start with something I wrote with all of my heart for everyone here today. So just wait until everyone gets a copy. And who does not have a copy? Does everyone have one? Yes? Who does not? Who does not? Okay, so we're good to go. Okay, I'd like to read this to you to start off. We all fall, and you can follow along because the words are very important and you'll also hear it. We all fall in and out of our energy power center, often losing our ability to find our appreciation for our lives and for life itself. Falling back actually allows us the space to feel, we can hold on to our core energy again. As we allow it to resurface, we can carry with us a new perspective for ourselves and for all that surrounds us. Because being alive gives each of us different challenges, and it will, over and over again, learning how to make this a practice will serve us well. The important thing is to be gentle and patient with ourselves so we can fall forward into this peaceful space filled with gratitude. It doesn't matter what our situation is at hand. Every day we are given the gift of beginning again. I wanted to start with that because, to me, EFT does exactly what this paper says. And what is EFT? Has anyone tried it? I know Sonia, Isabella. Oh, great, terrific. Where did you, I know with Church Dawson, you took both of you. Oh, okay. And Isabella?
Just research on it.
Oh, terrific. Okay, good. So EFT is an energy healing modality, and we can actually initiate our own self-healing. And it works on the acupressure points on our bodies. And what it does is it removes blockages. And the way we do that is we have meridians that run up and down our bodies from the bottom of our toes to the top of our head, and then out to the extremities of our arms. And when we tap on certain acupressure points in a hole, we can calm the amygdala in our brain down and see what is bothering us, and let the brain, the part of the brain, the amygdala, know it's okay. And then get a certain different perspective on what happened so that we can move forward. It now has scientific backing. There's empirical evidence constantly coming to surface. So it can be applied to many issues in many situations, from clearing past trauma to disease and sickness, managing our emotions and our mental and physical pain. To also managing our stress, our tension, and our anxiety that we hold in our body during the day and the course of our lives. So we need to get rid of the fear, because it's underlying fear. And in doing so, in releasing it, we can be more loving to ourselves and to the people around us. So together today, we're going to do some EFT, and the intention I chose for all of us here today is to reinforce who we are as human beings and to get in touch with our personal value so that we can empower ourselves. And a few things to know before I begin. I just need some water, that's one of them. Usually when we tap, we uncover and acknowledge the negative first. And people often ask, well, why are we thinking about the negative? Why are we even bringing that up? And the reason behind it is that we accentuate the negative. We're accentuating the negative, but the reason is to focus on it so that we can be in the truth of the moment and then release it. Okay, makes sense a little bit? We're good? Okay. Usually when we tap, different thoughts and emotions and feelings come up to the surface. It's different for everyone. And so when we tap today, it's important to take note of it. Your personal issues or whatever comes up for you, whether it be pain, it could be something from the past, it could be from the past way back, it could be maybe a small thing that happened yesterday. Okay, so just take note of it as we tap. It's not anything you have to concentrate on really hard. And we're going to do 2 rounds of tapping today, just so you have an idea of how the technique works. And we are on a limited amount of time, but I do believe it will still be effective for you. So let's get started. I'm going to put this here. Okay, so the first point, I need you please to follow along with me, and because you're going to learn it, because we're going to actually be interactive today. Okay? So the first point is called the karate chop point, and the reason being is when you give a karate chop, you're chopping right on the mushy part of your hand. So this is the first point. I'm just doing this with me. Just doing this. Okay, and you can tap left or you can tap right. Some people I've seen tap like this. The important thing is to have it on the meaty part of the hand. Okay? The meaty part, meaty. M-E-A-T-Y, meaty. The fleshy part. The next point is, it's the eyebrow point. So it's where your eyebrows meet the bridge of your nose. So it's right in here, 2 fingers, 1 finger I use 2. Okay, just like little taps. We don't want to see any bruises. And the next point is the side of the eye, but it's not the temple, it's actually the bone on the side of the eye. Bone. And the next point is under the eye, directly under your pupil, and it's on the bone. Okay? The next point under the nose, no one ever misses that. And the next point is at the chin, but it's not here, it's actually in the bone again, in the crease. The crease on the bone. Okay? And the next point is the collarbone point. So this is different for everyone, because everyone's a different size and shape. So if you find that U shape up top, there's 2 bones that start right up top. And you're going to come down an inch and over an inch. Very slightly, those are your points. Okay? Great. Doing good. The next point is under the arm. Okay? And when I tap with people, I believe in symmetry. So I say the other side. Okay? And then the last point, so we can all look like monkeys. Okay, great. All righty. So who's still with me here? We're good? So one more time, real fast. Karate chop point, eyebrow point, side of the eye, under the eye, under the nose, at the chin, your collarbone point, under the arm, the other side, and top of the head. Okay. So here we go. Karate chop. Into the nose and playing. All right, here we go. All right, so when we do karate, when we start with the karate chop point, it's 3 times. And basically it's the same statement. I might switch it up, I might not. So just so you know, we're going to be reciting basically the same line on the karate chop point when we start. And again, to reinforce the statement I made before is that we are human beings. So, and we want to get in touch with our personal value, and therefore we can empower ourselves. So I want to take a moment really quickly. I want you each to think of one thing, and I know we have a full plate. We all have things that So only one. And I want you to think of something that you know you have to do. And keep putting it off, and it's a burden, and you keep pushing it away. One thing. Okay? When you think of this thing, I want you to rate it. So when we do EFT, it's on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 causing you the most distress. So for our purposes today, don't pick a 2, because it's not so bad. Pick a 5 to 10. Okay, so I'll give you a moment to decide on something that you need to tend to, and just keep pushing it away, and you want to rate it from 5 to 10. I'll give you a moment. You can even write down your number, which is a good thing to do. You can even write down the item, which is even better. Then you can work on the circle. Who does not have their number? Oh, great. See, I got wise. I used to say who has their number, but then I couldn't see who did it. So now I do. Who doesn't have their number? Very few hands go up. Great. Okay. So, as we tap, I want you to keep this thing that you decided on in the forefront of your mind. And also take a moment, think of it for 1 second, quickly, and see if it resides anywhere in your body. It could make your tummy twist up, you could get a pain in the back of your neck, you're stressing, maybe you get a pain in your head. So just keep note of it. It's not a big deal, I just want you to check in with that. And I'm going to speak some phrases to you, and what I want you to do is repeat them back to me. And when I speak them, I'd like you to accentuate the phrase the way I speak it, and to concentrate on the words as you repeat them to me. And no worries if you stumble or fumble. The most important thing is I don't want you to worry about getting it right, because you can't get it wrong. So you don't want to stress out, oh, am I going to do this right? Okay, so know that going into this, no stressing about that. And I will be asking everyone to close their eyes. And the reason I do this is so that you're creating your own space. We don't want anyone touching. You want to kind of be in your own little bubble. And when I'm calling out the points, don't stress about that you're closing your eyes. I just find that it works a lot better. Don't stress out, again, about closing your eyes. You can always open them and peek and see, oh, am I in the right place? It's not a big deal, all right? So I want you to enjoy this. So we're going to do a test. So I want to hear you all repeat after me, please. I sure hope this person.
I sure hope this person.
Standing in front of the room.
Standing in front of the room.
Knows what she's doing.
Knows what she's doing.
Good. That was great. Okay, so we're actually going to start. I also, how's everyone feeling right now?
Good.
Good? Okay, good. So the verbal disclaimer I also do in addition. So we're going to just repeat after me. In tapping today.
In tapping today.
I take full responsibility.
I take full responsibility
For my own well-being.
for my own well-being.
Terrific. Amen. So get comfortable. Okay, find your own space. Feet are flat on the floor. No crossing. We want the energy to flow. I'm watching you. Feet flat. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath in. And at your own pace, you're going to release it out. And another deep breath in. And deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I have my plate full with so many things I need to do.
Even though I have
so many things
things
I
to
need
do,
to do.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
And one more time, even
Even though
this plate is full,
This plate is full,
and I've got so much to do.
and I got so much to do.
And in spite of this fact,
in
In spite of this fact,
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept
Here we
myself.
go. Corner of the eye. So many things to do.
So many things to do.
Side of the eye. How can I get everything completed?
how can I get everything
Incomplete.
Under the eye. So many things bother me.
So many things bother me.
Under the nose. They cause me to become stressed.
They
They
cause
cause
me
me
to become stressed.
Stress.
At the chin. And then I do nothing.
And then I do nothing.
And at the collarbone point, I get so overwhelmed.
I get so overwhelmed.
And under the arm, I don't know how everything's going to get done.
I don't know
How
how everything's gonna
everything's
get
going
done.
to get done.
And the other side, I need motivation.
I need motivation.
So sorry. Where were we? Other side, we did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, top of the head. But I feel so overwhelmed.
But I feel so overwhelmed.
Corner of the eye. I need to slow down so that I can get things done.
I need to slow down so I can get things done.
Side of the eye. This never is going to work.
This never gonna work.
Under the eye. I'm so overwhelmed.
I'm so overwhelmed.
At the nose. I'm so overwhelmed.
I'm so overwhelmed.
At the chin. I'm so overwhelmed.
I'm so overwhelmed.
In the collarbone. I'm so overwhelmed.
I'm so overwhelmed.
And now hands down, keep your eyes closed. Take that deep breath in at your own pace as you exhale. I just want you to feel your body. Check it. See what's going on. See if you felt anything. It could have been a movement inside of you. It could be a thought that came into your mind while you were tapping. Just take a moment and think about the numbers you started with. And only when you're ready, at your own pace, this will wait for you. So I want you to stay in this space. You can open your eyes. Only when you're ready. Okay, we have one more, two more. Okay, so how was that for you? Anyone? Isabella, anything? How are you feeling? It was the first round. It's, you know, you might not have felt anything at all.
I was stressed.
Was that? It stressed you?
Stressed me to repeat.
It stressed you. Thank you for telling me that. Thank you. What did it do to you? Where is your number? Did it go up?
9.
It went up. What did you start at?
Now I started from 9. I thought I started doing what increased more.
Okay, so it went up higher.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Did that happen to anyone else? It happened to Isabella. Okay, anyone else? Yes? Okay, 3, that's 3. Do I have 4? Do I have 5? Anyone else? Okay, so we have there's another honest person. Good. Okay. So in this particular case, when the number goes up, it's actually your energies moving and letting you know there's something there and I need to work on it. And so let me ask everyone whose number went up in this particular sample. Did you have thoughts that came in while you were tapping? You might not have, might have just been the words that got you. Did anything else come up? You don't have to tell me what it was. I just want to know if anything came up.
I think it's
Yes? Oh, sorry, baby.
You know the repetition of I feel overwhelmed made me feel more overwhelmed.
It did. Okay. So the repetition of I feel overwhelmed made her feel more overwhelmed. Okay?
My number stayed the same,
Okay.
but I got more stressed because I didn't know which position you were going to next. I was anticipating, am I doing the head next or the under the arm? I guess the way, the order.
Oh, okay, it was the
Yeah,
same
I don't
order.
know which
I'm
I
sorry.
got.
Yeah, because those are the basic points. So it starts at karate chop point, eyebrow, down the body, to the
It's
top.
always the same.
Yeah, it is always the same for today's purposes. It's not always the same, just for today it is. Yeah, it can be different. So I just want to get back to the fact that when you get overwhelmed, it's letting me know that there really is something that I need to tend to. So don't look at it as something negative. It's your attention is brought there because you want to see what it is so that you can move it away. Did anything come up for you? Nothing, just those words. Anything come up for anyone? Okay, so we're gonna go again. Okay, how's about, did anyone feel better?
I felt like her. More
This table, look at this energy. Okay, Dulcie, and then I want to hear you.
like more repeating as overwhelmed. I got it even more. I think the repeating the negative words
Okay.
made me even more tired.
Okay.
And overwhelmed.
Okay, let's see how this round works, but I want to hear from the testosterone. So what happened? You guys felt good.
Yeah.
What happened?
Whenever I tap these parts of my body, it feels very good.
Okay, but what about your numbers?
8.
8? You started at
It
8?
stayed at 8.
You stayed at 8.
Mine started at 9 and went to 7.
You came down to
Yeah, and I feel a sense of peace. Like whatever it is, let it go. It's gonna be okay.
That's what came into your mind? Beautiful. That's good.
For me, it was an 8, and I completely forgot about the number and about anything else. I was so peaceful here, so
And how are you feeling now?
very good.
Where's your number?
Now,
Well, now, what would you...
yeah, I completely forgot about the issues of the problem. So
Zero.
0.
Beautiful. So now you're going to like this part also. Okay, everyone ready? Try
What
it
my
again.
sales number?
Are we ready to try this again?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So we're going to start at the karate chop point again. And please, I'm just showing you how this is done. There's a lot more, but I want you to just know about it. Okay, so here we go, eyes closed. And even though my plate is still full,
Even though my plate is still
It is still
and
full.
there's so many things I need to do.
and
There's so many things I need to do.
And in spite of this fact,
And in spite of this fact,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
Even though this plate I have is still full,
This plate I have is still full,
and I don't like it,
and I don't like it.
and in spite of this fact,
In spite of this fact,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And one more time,
Even though
my plate is so full,
my plate is
so full,
and there's so many things I need to do,
and there's so many things I need to do.
I deeply and completely love and accept
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Okay, here we go. Corner of the eye or the eyebrow point. So much to do.
So much to do.
And the side of the eye. Can I look at this differently?
Can I look at this differently?
Under the eye. Maybe I can look at it differently.
Maybe I can look at it differently.
And under the nose. Maybe there is a way I can get back on track.
Maybe there is a way I can get back on track.
And at the chin. Maybe there is a way I can get back on track.
Maybe there is a way I can get back on track.
And the collarbone point. I gently and lovingly accept all that I am.
I gently and love accept all that I am.
And under the arm, I accept me, however life is right now.
I accept me, however life is right now.
And the other side, I'm choosing to release this anxiety.
I'm choosing to release this anxiety.
Top of the head. And I'm choosing to release the worry around this.
I'm choosing to release the worry around this.
And corner of the eye, eyebrow point, in spite of all I've been through.
In spite of all I've been through.
Side of the eyes, I have accomplished so many things.
I have accomplished so many things.
And under the eye, some might have been large and some might have been small.
Some might be large and some might be small.
And under the nose, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And at the collarbone, whoops, chin. There are so many more opportunities coming my way.
There are so many more opportunities coming my way.
And the collarbone point, and for that, I honor myself.
And for that, I honor myself.
And under the arm, for all I have done in the past.
For all I have done in the past.
Other side, and for all I will take on in the future.
And for all I will take on
In the future.
Top of the head, I am choosing to honor myself now.
I choose to honor myself.
And the eyebrow point, learning to honor myself.
Learning to honor myself.
And side of the eye, I can forgive myself for not getting everything done.
I can forgive myself for not getting everything done.
And under the eye, for not getting perfect.
For not getting perfect.
And at the chin, I am a human being.
I am a human being.
And the collarbone point, and because of that fact,
And because of that fact,
under the arm, maybe I can prioritize my list.
maybe I can prioritize my list.
And the other side, I can prioritize my list.
I can prioritize my list.
And top of the head, I can get this done.
I can get this done.
And eyebrow point, I can even remain calm and do this.
I can even remain calm and do this.
Side of the eye, one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Under the arm, I will stay in the moment when tending to what I need to do.
I
I will stay in the moment
What I need
to do it.
And under the nose, all I have to do is start.
All I have to do is start.
And at the chin, all I have to do is start.
All I have to do is start.
And at the collarbone, well, how's about that? On top of it, whoops, under the arm. I am human.
I am human.
And the other side, I am valuing myself.
I am valuable to myself.
And top of the head, what I do does matter.
What I do does matter.
And the eyebrow point. Oops. Who I am matters.
Who I am matters.
Side of the eye. I guess she didn't do it perfect. And under the eye, I am choosing to own my power.
I'm choosing to own my power.
And under the nose, my power to be human.
My power to be human.
And at the chin, for all that I do.
All that I do.
Collarbone point, and for all that I am.
And for all that I am.
Under the arm, I am choosing to honor myself now.
I choose to honor myself now.
Other side, I am choosing self-respect.
I'm choosing self-respect.
Top of the head, I am choosing to appreciate myself.
I'm choosing to appreciate myself.
And one more time, here we go, the corner of the eye. And in this moment,
In this moment,
side of the eye, in this time space right now,
in this time, space, right now,
under the eye, I like the way that feels.
I like the way that feels.
And under the nose, I am falling forward.
I am falling forward.
And at the top, chin, the spiritual side of me is strong.
The spiritual side of me is strong.
And at the collarbone point, I have this guidance inside of me.
I have this guidance
Inside of me
Under the arm, it is always with me.
is always with me.
The other side, it is always with me.
It is always with me.
And top of the head, I honor myself and I am grateful.
I honor myself and I am
I'm
grateful.
grateful.
Hands down, let's take that deep breath, eyes closed, check in with your body. Check in with your numbers, see if something happened to that. See if any thoughts entered your mind. And only when you're ready, you'll open your eyes at your own time and at your own speed. So you have to put the glasses on so if you still have closed eyes, take the time. See a few more. So how's everyone feeling? Any comments? Let's start with Dulcie.
Relax.
Relaxed. And what was your number when you started again?
9, now it's 3.
It's a 3.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Whose number went down? Beautiful. What was your number in the back when you started?
Me?
The woman in red.
17.
You know what? I was going to say if you have to go up to 20. Go up to 20. It was 17 when you started. Where are you now?
10.
A 10. Beautiful. Who else? Anyone else?
Mine didn't change at first. It just, I felt when they started
from her tummy to the back, okay? So that's movement of energy. Now, we don't always know why, so there could have been a blockage there for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. She could identify it or not identify it. You don't always have to identify it. But you're feeling better now than you did before, and that's what counts, okay? So with EFT, we can learn how to calm our bodies when something happens to us that causes us emotional or physical pain. And in doing so, we bring ourselves back to a calm so that the homeostasis in our body can work properly and all of our organs can work together in harmony. So that's the short of it. Any other comments? How's that, Isabella?
I feel good. I feel like I've just been, I've just actually accomplished something, and like as if like my boss at work was like, "Great job!" And I'm like, "Yay!" I'm not tingling in my body. Feel good.
Now, how's about people who the thing that you had to do? Does anyone want to comment? You don't have to tell me what it is, but the thing you were concentrating on, how does it feel now? Anyone? Still feels like you want to throw it out the window? Yes.
I should do it.
You should do it. And is it hard to do?
Yeah, I was very fearful prior to the tapping. It's the first time I did tapping. And just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And so emotionally, how do you feel?
I don't feel the barriers. Yeah, I feel that emotionally the baggage was not so heavy as was before the tapping.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. And that's what EFT can do. Okay, so my motto in what I do is that we want to stay well. And in clearing out blockages consistently. It's not a one-time deal, it's a practice. Okay? So my ideal in staying well is, does anyone meditate in here? Meditation, we did that at the beginning, right? Very important. EFT, nutrition, body movement, any kind of body movement, spirituality, and community. And I would like to close with, do I have time for a little, no, okay. Okay, so the second sheet, I would just like to close with that. And I have, there are cards on the table and some flyers if you'd like some more information. And everyone have a page? I would just like to say, I wish I could take responsibility for writing this, but I didn't. I wrote the first one. This is by a gentleman, Mike Dooley. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Believing you can. Though you might not. Believing you can't won't change that you can. It just hides it. Whereas simply getting started, however timid your steps are, but consistently moving in the direction of your dreams day after day, will eventually create such unstoppable momentum, you'll find it nearly impossible to believe that there was ever a time when you wavered. Let's give them something to talk about. That's the universe telling you that. And I thank you very much.
So just reminding that at 3 p.m. we are going to have a break, and we are also going to have after the break a room here for us to pray to the world for those who need fraternal assistance. We are also already having feedback on the Facebook Live for people asking for prayers. So if you want, you can send the names, you can send any comment or questions on Facebook Live for the ones who are watching us on Cardiac Radio, and we are going to write down the names here and the questions here as we are having a Q&A later in the end of the afternoon. And now we'd like to invite Claudio Petrillo for the lecture Eternal Family Ties.
Claudio is a board-certified physician in physical medicine and rehabilitation. He completed his residency training in PMR and a fellowship in spinal cord injuries at New York University Medical Center's Rusk Institute of Rehabilitation Medicine, and served as clinical professor at NYU until 1982. He was the chairman of the Department of PMR at Norwalk Hospital, Norwalk, Connecticut, from 1982 to 2012, and has been recognized by his peers through the Castle Connolly surveys as one of the top doctors in the New York metro area for 10 consecutive years. In 2007, when he began to channel the book Eternal Bonds of Love from his son Ricardo that had passed away at age 20 in 2005. Ricardo, Claudia, and his wife Silva have been publishing 8 books.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
May all of you be at peace. Excuse me for a mistake there. I put in a 4th annual suicide prevention workshop and sees the 6th. 2 years a little late. I would like to thank Dulce for the invitation. And it's important to know that I'm not a speaker. And the reason why we came here was basically to tell our story. It's a story of Claudio Silva and Ricardo and the eternal bonds of love. I don't particularly like to call it family ties because our family is much bigger than the family that we have here by blood. And sometimes those eternal bonds of love have to be built over centuries of different lives. Our story is a very special story. Everyone has his or her own special story, very special. However, most of us are unaware of our stories. So preoccupied we are with the day-to-day affairs. In that way, we let life pass us by without taking anything out of it. We are the producers, the authors, the actors, and the directors of our stories. And we have the free will to choose how our story is going to be. Our story began many centuries ago, and we'll be sharing with you our current chapter. My story is rather simple. As far as I can remember myself as a human being, I knew I was going to be a doctor. There was no doubt in my mind. So that simplifies things. I see so many youngsters up to the age of 50 not knowing what to do in life. It must be very disconcerting. So I had no difficulties. All that I had to do was to apply myself in school and then get into a medical school, and that I would be that. And that was a simple thing in my mind. I was born in the Catholic Church. My mother took us to, I had 3 additional brothers, took us to Mass every Sunday. We stood there, I looked at our own people, some of them closing their eyes, praying, some of them looking as they should have been somewhere else. And I took First Communion and so on, but then it didn't click with me. All the rituals and rules were not for my personality. And as I applied myself in my studies, I gradually disconnected from religion, even though I always felt that my spirituality remained, and it remained in the contact with people. So I did what I had to do. I finished medical school, and one day I finally arrived to New York. That was a great day. First time in New York, coming for training, residency training, in one of the best schools in the world. Not only they would provide me the best training in medicine in the world, but they were going to pay me a salary for it. I was coming from Brazil, said, wow. I was very grateful for that. And then it was rather simple. Sylvia's story is not that much different in that sense. It tells me that she also always thought herself as being a doctor. However, she wanted to be a psychiatrist and do psychoanalysis and so on. But after she came with me, she settled for physiatry, which we changed a couple of words, and that's what I am, a physiatrist. And we've been partners in life and professionally since. She grew up in the Jewish religion, although her family wasn't very religious at all. They followed some of the Jewish traditions, which are very beautiful. But Sylvia was not professing any religion. Her level of spirituality also came from human contact. So reuniting Sylvia and Claudia was fascinating because, for me at least, and for her, coming from Brazil in a special situation in which her father had suffered an accident, and one of those coincidences of the world, who would his doctor be? Me. So that's the way we met. And from then on, it's been a paradise. We always together, work together, same office. Some people say, how can you do that? And it's all boys guide out. What's that? So one thing that is interesting is worth mentioning is that a couple of years before Sylvia came to New York to be with me, she had lost, or one of her close friends had died, and she was, like most Brazilians without a religion, she believed in Chico Xavier and communication and so on, and she wanted to receive a message from this friend that had passed away. So somebody suggested that she wrote a letter to Divaldo, and she did. And you know Divaldo, he's never busy, he doesn't do much, right? So he doesn't have a lot of letters to answer. He answered the letter, providing some comfort and explaining that probably he was in a stage that he couldn't really communicate. And then he recommended that she read this book. So when she came to New York, she brought the book with her, and I was open to that. So that is the synchrony that clicks at the same time. And we started within our honeymoon study the Spirit's book. So this is the young man that is not that busy and he has been a tremendous influence in our lives. So then a miracle happened, and Ricardo was born in 1985. An interesting thing that it's worth mentioning that I'm honored to have been part of is after Sylvia came, we ended up joining a Spiritist group. They were in Spiritist Center at that time in the early 80s in New York and any other area. So we joined a fellow called John Zario, who's now in Arizona, and a group that was from Philadelphia. And we traveled back and forth to Philadelphia. And John invited Divaldo for his first lecture in the United States in New York. And I was honored to have been the translator of his letter. It was very touching. So when Ricardo came, it was a miracle. So we were very close together for everything. We never did anything apart. That the bonds of love that we had was clearly from different lives. It was such a harmony. And within that period of happiness, we continued our studies, but somehow, gradually, we found the excuses. We're busy doctors, a busy practice. We have a baby now, and then when Ricardo was 7, Anna and Gabrielle came to our lives. They were my brother's children, and he had passed away just a year after his wife had, so they were orphans at that time. So we adopted them from Brazil, we brought them in here, and immediately they became brothers and sisters with Ricardo. There was no difference. I mean, even the language barrier was very little, but it was very interesting to see that. So we found other excuses for not to be as committed to the studies and to our doctrine, and we got lost what was happening in the area, because then I think in the 90s and early 21st century, more Spiritist groups began to be formed. So every thought, every action, and every emotion creates a new field of energy. And believe me, that field of energy that you create with your thoughts and with your actions will decide what spiritual influences will be with you. This is what's probably happened to us. We felt that we were invulnerable. And in our subconscious, we probably believed that we had done a great thing in bringing the kids in, and so nothing bad could happen to us until in 2005, an accident in college took Ricardo away from us. This painting by Brook, it's probably the best way I can express what we felt that same day. All your beliefs and so on, they don't come to you when that happens. All that happens is that there will be a separation. So obviously you have to be spiritually developed and to take it as a positive thing. Very few of us can do that. So that our immediate reaction was to enormous grief. But during the wake, one of our cousins, who's a medium, saw Ricardo there with us and received a message. So we stopped everything and she gave us the message. One of the things he said to her is that whenever you see a blue bird, I'll be with you. The blue bird became a figure for us that brings us joy. The blue jay is our favorite bird. Whenever we see him, we smile. Divaldo gosta em pássaro azul. Now, I want to talk a little bit about synchronicity. And who knows what synchronicity is? Yeah, has anybody ever was thinking about somebody and then you get that call? That's synchronicity. Or you receive a sign, you see a sign on the road and it indicates something and you and something similar happens. Whatever it is, this is basically the spiritual world. Adjusting things so that giving the direction for certain events. Carl Jung actually brought that concept on a more deep psychological meaning, and basically he attributes that to psychic phenomenon, which we call spiritual phenomenon. Before we did the cremation, I was in the computer and we had been detached from the spirit. I received a message that Raul Teixeira was giving a talk the following day in New York. We are now from New York. So we decided to go and we met Raul. He said something that I told him later, years later. It was very shocking to us because we were there crying and just, and he told us he is with someone that loves him more than you do. And we said, oh, come on. How could that be? Now we understand that. We understand it very well. So, what did we do in our lives? We went back to Planet A, which is go back and read the Spirit's book. Go back and read the Medium's book. Go back, study the Gospel according to Spiritism, Genesis. We read all the books, studied many other philosophies. Started the Gospel at home, which we had interrupted. And we invited the rest of the family that lives in the area for regular weekly meetings. After we finished reading the Medium's book, we started doing ourselves some mediumistic meetings on Sundays, in which we'll just sit down and see if a message would come. And I started scribbling some messages here and there. They were beautiful messages, they're hopeful messages, and they brought us some relief. Until we received this first message from Ricardo. Yes, Dad, it's me. I'm talking to you through somebody else, since I cannot yet communicate with you directly. It's like using a translator. Well, we were very thrilled, happy, and a week later, we got a second message. And again, thinking about synchronism, the following week, Divaldo was giving a lecture in Lilydale, and we were going to that lecture. So we met him there, and And we asked him, Divaldo, we received this message, that a tribute to Ricardo. What do you think? I said, of course, he said. Who else would want to talk to you? So he was totally certain of that. So it was very encouraging for us to continue with that process, because even though you are receiving a message, you know that you are not writing it. You have some kind of doubt yourself, because you're human. You say, how can I do this? So the message continued with increasing frequency and fluency, because in the beginning it was almost like he was stuttering. They didn't connect very well. They made sense and they're all positives, but it's like somebody stuttering. So the fluency began to flow. And about a year after the first message, he told us we were going to write a book. And that in 2008, we published Eternal Bonds of Love. Basically, it depicts Ricardo's experience in the first 2 years of spiritual life. Though he dedicated this book to the young, one of the main purposes was really to help us, to comfort Sylvia and I, and Anna and Gabriel in that difficult stage of our lives. He remembers and reminisces his life with us and the very meaningful relationship we had and the love between us. He encourages to continue on our spiritual paths through our studies and practices, both personal and professional. Nevertheless, he remarks that the book is to be shared with others as it might help to alleviate someone's pain. This is the introduction of the book written by Sylvia. I think it's very telling the way we were feeling at that time as well. We know some will doubt Claudio received direct communications from our son, but we know that Claudio could not have written what he wrote of his own without Ricardo's inspiration. In other words, I couldn't write. So that's especially the many touching and beautiful poems, all in 20 to 30 minutes of uninterrupted flow. Besides, Walter never wrote poetry. We're amazed and in awe to this date of the entire process we went through in such a short period of time. Through this experience, we have learned about a reality we only hoped for, but could not be sure existed. Our son lives, and through him, we hope many will be comforted and believe our spirits are immortal, and that life goes on, and after our transition to different realms of reality. One of the reasons why we are here, even though we haven't had contact with suicide, is that the message is one. And that message that we live should be the message for those that somehow might be contemplating suicide. The next year, we're kind of writing in a frenzy. So we published 2 books at the same time, and both in poem. And basically, these 2 books, the first 3 books, were really in many ways directed to us and not to the public, because there are a lot of the poems were really directly done to us. Sometimes my mind wanders, floats from thought to thought, like ripples on the ocean, like fallen leaves of autumn. And I abandon my thoughts to themselves, freeing them from my mind, watching them disappear. Sometimes I feel in my heart all the pain of the world, all the sorrow and suffering. and I let the pain in my heart change to peace and love. Sometimes I feel like that my life, there's so much that I must do. There is so little that I've done. And I watch myself and wonder. Sometimes, when I'm close to you, I want to tell you so much, everything I know, I've learned, all that I want to do and share. And I stop and ponder. I observe calmly my thoughts, my heart, my life, and myself. And I smile. Sometimes, I say sometimes, I'll be flying like an eagle above the world, above all, with the wisdom of the times. And I will then sometimes just whisper in your ears, I love you. The next books changed completely. They went from poetry to a combination of poetry and we define them as spiritual fiction. Eternal Romeo is the only book that's basically written regarding suicide. Of course, everybody knows that here, Romeo committed suicide, right? And Juliet. So it's a very interesting, one of my favorite books, if there is such a thing. Next would be Journey of Life, Don Quixote Goes to Washington, and Two Worlds Intertwined is the last published book. So that means 2015, 3 years without publishing a book. We're getting lazy. There are a couple of reasons for that. I agree. I think we could be doing more. But we spent 1 year writing a book just for him to tell us to toss it. And that was what he said, some practice so that I could be more accurate, so that the book that we are finishing now could reflect what he really wanted to say. Now, how that all affected us? Basically, there are two components, personal and professional. Personally, we became completely different. We have much more compassion. We dedicate a lot more time to the important things of life and less to the unimportant things of life. We were very close, we remain close, and family. We have created a sacred space in our room for our meetings. We have changed a lot of the things that we used to do for recreation, pleasure. We never had hobbies, but basically the times that we had was for ourselves and family and spiritual development. Professionally, it was a tremendous change. We moved from the mechanistic medicine, which we in part practice, and we still do because there's a lot of technology that's phenomenal, to more integrative medicine, integrating all different aspects of mind, soul, and spirit. We pass that to our patients. Several of our patients we have given the book Eternal Bonds of Love. They're very grateful. It changed many of their lives by just understanding what's happening. Synchronicity again. As I said before, I'm not a speaker. I do talks on medical issues that are my specialty, but I'm not comfortable in studying a subject to give a talk. I have to tell people about our experience. That's the only way I think I can add to someone's knowledge. And so, what are we doing here, Silda and I? What happened is that in June, on June 6th, we received part of the messages that Ricardo sent us, a personal message, nothing to do with the book. He mentioned that it is a great challenge to communicate the message to this new generation, and we must make the effort to change. He says that the short attention span caused by access to an unbelievable amount of information is really creating new brains with different needs. He says that the way books are okay, however, they don't have the attention span to read them. So we need to figure out, and he's suggesting that we contact more messengers, and people that are sending the message of the Spiritist doctrine out there so that we can together find a way. Well, this is a first message, so well, let's see what he talks. He just might be having a midlife crisis. So on June 24th, the next message, he says, we must create a new strategy based on the new means of communication, as some spiritual philosophers from the East have done. So when he writes twice in a row about the same thing, we take him seriously, and I gave Vanessa and Sony a call just to find out what she's doing. I mean, is there anything that you're doing? We have received those messages, there are some concerns, and she said, you know, Claudio, this weekend we're having a conference just for the youth here, and we're doing something very different. We're taking them out to the streets to do a blah, blah, blah. Can you come? So, well, I can come. I mean, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I can come. But it was something very meaningful. And, you know, clearly she was doing something. She was thinking of something, or their group. And I'm sure that other groups are doing that. I will probably share some with Julino and see if there's the same feeling. But we no longer think twice when synchronicity of events happen. And then here on August 19th, after I had talked to Vanessa, another message. We need to have access to the young generation to bring them some hope and a different perspective of life based on spiritual growth. Some opportunities may present to you, and it may be worthwhile exploring them. Well, that means you're going to be called for something, or something's going to happen, and you better take it. So Vanessa called me on August 26th, a week later, and saying that Dulce was going to be contacting me, and that if I could come to this meeting. And instead of saying, oh, in Long Island, I say, well, better take it. So synchronicity has to guide us in many ways, and that's why we're here. We hope that our message can resound to those that might benefit from it. Not just to the group that we know that are followers of our wonderful doctrine. And the message that we have to give can be summarized in one of the poems he wrote at his first book, Eternal Bonds of Love. I look at you today and noted you are sad. I tried to smile to cheer you up, but you did not see it. You seemed immersed in a field of thoughts that I could not reach. I came closer to you and sensed that you were sad. I hugged you with all my love, but you did not feel the beats of my heart against your chest. Your thoughts were wandering where I couldn't say. I could not penetrate the mysteries of your mind. I talked to you today, but you didn't listen. Your mind was occupied with what I couldn't tell. Your thoughts were locked in the vault of your mind closed to all. Resigned with it, I decided to wait. And with my heart most sincere feelings, I prayed that you opened yourself to us. That you would have the strength to continue your struggle and still open yourself and your senses to us. Like rays of light, my answers came, multicolored, reaching you to your innermost, with sense of peace, inebriating your heart and unlocking that vault, allowing gray clouds to escape and become immersed in that symphony of lights and taking the shape of hope. You smiled to my kiss, and I could see that you knew that for each moment of desperation and hopelessness, there would be many of joy as we conquer one at a time to achieve perfect harmony with God. We need each other. You and I and all of us that comprise this great family whose Father continues to bless us with his mercy and love. I walked this morning near you. I knew that you were sad. I hugged you in my arms and you sobbed. Your heart was open and the blood bubbled and coiled with fury. You knew I was there and you cried. And I cried of happiness for having you back. Tonight, you look at me and smile. Life goes on, we know. And no more that we will never be alone, never abandoned. In our endless journeys, we go on. Thank you.
We have the book Eternal Bonds of Love available here for sale. It's outside.
Donation. Free.
It's free donation, sorry. Just,
Even better.
Even better. But we have this book and we have other books by Ricardo, Claudio, and Silvia. They're available here. And now we are going to have a 20 minutes break. So.
Today is the birthday of his granddaughter. He came. Isn't that a great gift for us?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to share your story and all these feelings and emotions with us. And so we are going to have a 20 minutes break and then we are coming back here to
some music.
Have music and to have more lectures. Thank you.
The books are all available outside by the table outside.